I was with the girl and he was asking about her, and then he was asking me stuff like, would you be interested in, like, somebody watching? He was just asking some really, really bugged out questions. And I still have those emails. I still have all that, So like that's one of the things that I was going to include in the book. I'm just trying to figure out how.
New courtroom leaks and wild insider chatter are shaking up the industry, putting Jay-Z's name right in the middle of the storm. Allegedly, these new testimonies claim he was way too comfortable watching Beyonce with other men, even Ray J, while being tied to some of Diddy's darkest inner circles. The story exploded after TMZ dropped their 2025 docuseries, The Downfall of Diddy Inside the Freak-Offs, and it sent social media into total chaos. Ray J's appearance in that documentary had everyone's jaws on the floor. He claimed that major celebrities are out here paying people to stay quiet just to keep their names clean. In his own words, people do catch in silences all day. Somebody has the truth. Somebody pays you to keep it quiet. That single quote had the whole industry buzzing because Ray J wasn't just talking about Diddy.
Diddy, as we know, is into those things. That's in the indictment. Cassie has not denied it, but they've came out and said, that Diddy used to like to watch Cassie. That's what he's into. Some men like to do that stuff. There's not a crime in that. But yes, Ray J, from what I was told, from being inside at the highest level, that Jay-Z likes to watch Beyonce with different men, such as Ray J.
He was hinting at a circle much bigger and more powerful, and he didn't back down. Ray J told TMZ's Harvey Levin that what he described isn't old gossip. It's happening right now. According to him, some A-list stars are allegedly cutting silence checks to stop the truth from coming out. Just days later, powerhouse attorney Tony Buzbee warned reporters that the list of Diddy's accomplices would shock the public. And he wasn't exaggerating. Buzbee revealed he's representing several accusers and sending out demand letters to big-name celebrities who may have known what really happened behind those private doors. That's when Jay-Z's name quietly started floating around, not in legal files, but in insider talks whispered at the highest levels of power. Some even claim the bond between him and Diddy runs way deeper than anyone dares to admit. So why is Jay-Z's name suddenly back in the mix now? Because this scandal isn't just about old friendships, it's about who was close enough to know what was really going down. Jaguar Wright, the bold and outspoken singer who once toured with The Roots and even performed alongside Jay-Z, popped back up this year in an interview that set the internet on fire. Sitting across from Pi Morgan, she dropped a bombshell that left people speechless. "He's a monster," she said flat out about Jay-Z. "I've known he's a monster for years." The way she said it sent chills through everyone watching.
Nobody's hiding it. Like, so if people would be, shocked, if we're shocked, we're not really paying attention to the music and videos and images that we're listening to, because it's right in front of our face. Like, it's not hidden, right? Everybody's talking about it and everybody's acting that part. Well, then they could say, well, this is just art.
Fans remembered that Wright had already warned people years ago about Diddy's freak-off parties, long before the feds ever raided his homes. And now that she's linking the same darkness to Jay-Z, folks can't tell if this is just random timing or a disturbing pattern unfolding in real time. By July 2025, things hit a breaking point. Diddy was officially convicted on solicitation-related charges after a shocking trial that kept the world watching. Witnesses described the same setup again and again. Fancy hotels, hidden cameras, and orchestrated events that prosecutors said turned into pure exploitation. The details had everyone questioning how deep this web really went. The verdict might have closed Diddy's chapter, but it kicked open a whole new one that nobody in the industry was ready for. If the trial proved there was a network running behind the scenes, then what does that say about Jay-Z's role in all of it? To really understand that, we gotta rewind to September 2024, the moment Diddy's empire started to crumble with those federal trafficking and racketeering charges. The 14-page federal indictment painted a shocking picture of what prosecutors called a carefully staged operation, elaborate private performances nicknamed freak-offs. According to the documents, the mogul allegedly organized setups involving his girlfriends and hired male guests, turning luxury suites into secret arenas for whatever he demanded. Prosecutors revealed that several big-name celebrities were seen attending these parties, though many reportedly left before things turned dark. Among the faces once spotted walking into those exclusive events were Jay-Z, Beyonce, and a handful of other A-list names from the entertainment world. None of them were ever charged. But when Diddy's arrest hit the headlines, the silence from those inner circles was deafening. Nobody said a word, no statements, no denials, nothing. That same fall, Ray J sat down with TMZ and dropped another bomb. He said that after the arrest, several of his famous friends started calling him, nervous and scared, wanting him to speak on their behalf without exposing their names. They want to talk to me about what happened to them, he admitted, because they think I can get it out there. But mid-interview, his whole energy changed. He went quiet and shut down, saying he'd already said too much. That was rare for Ray J. A man who usually lives for the spotlight suddenly looked like he'd seen too much. But what came next took the whole situation to another level. Around the same time, Jaguar Wright pushed the envelope even further. She accused Jay-Z of having his own twisted version of control, claiming his marriage to Beyonce is more of a business deal than a love story. Wright alleged that Beyonce is constantly monitored, told what to say, what to eat, what to wear, and that she's kept under heavy influence to keep the perfect image alive. And her statement set the internet ablaze. Fans flooded social media with shock and disbelief, especially since Wright's claims echoed the words of a man known as Uncle Ron, a supposed former bodyguard for the Carters who had already hinted at similar things. The overlap between their stories had everyone asking the same question: what's really going on behind the mansion gates? Uncle Ron claimed that Jay-Z keeps Beyonce under tight control and that their marriage was built more on business than real love.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
According to him, everything about their relationship is about maintaining power, image, and profit, not romance. The claim was wild, but what made it hit harder was when it came out. If this was just another celebrity rumor, people might have brushed it off like the usual gossip. But the timing, that's what got everyone talking. All these claims started surfacing right as federal investigators were quietly dissecting Diddy's entire network, tracing money trails, tracking communications, and digging through evidence seized from his mansions in Los Angeles and Miami. Reports even hinted that the FBI found stacks of hard drives, each labeled with celebrity initials, and insiders whispered that some could contain extremely private footage. The second that leaked, the internet exploded with speculation. Suddenly, every old rumor about Jay-Z started sounding brand new again. People began revisiting the early 2000s, when his personal life had already raised eyebrows across the industry. There were whispers about his tension with Dame Dash over Aaliyah, rumors of closeness with Foxy Brown, and questions about why he continued collaborating with R. Kelly even after that infamous underage marriage scandal. All those moments painted the image of a man who knew exactly where the line was drawn and still stepped right up to it every single time. So when Jaguar Wright called him a monster, it wasn't just a random insult. She was pointing back at years of behavior, suggesting the darkness people thought was gone never really disappeared. It just moved behind locked doors.
And I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
Meanwhile, Diddy's life behind bars only made people more obsessed with what was really going on. Locked up inside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a place inmates straight up call hell on earth, the once untouchable mogul reportedly couldn't handle the fall. Sources said he threw wild tantrums, furious over losing his celebrity privileges and being treated like everyone else. While his lawyers kept filing desperate appeals, reports from inside the facility painted a grim picture. Infestations, violence, and total isolation. For the public, it was symbolic. Watching a man who once lived in mansions now trapped in a cold cell was the ultimate fall from grace. And naturally, the question on everyone's mind was, if Diddy could fall, who's next? Jay-Z's name started trending right beside his, not because of any charges, but because fans began connecting dots that had been hiding in plain sight.
Everybody. So I know that Jay-Z is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch Beyonce with other men. Ray J, from what I heard, even before all this happened, was one of the guys that used to smash Beyonce while Jay-Z.
People started breaking down their overlapping empires, their shared circles, and the strange silence that followed Diddy's conviction. Things got even darker when attorney Tony Busby stepped up after sentencing, revealing that his team was still getting new evidence. He even hinted that certain recordings could lead to more investigations. That comment alone sent social media into overdrive. Soon, users began digging up old clips of Jay-Z hanging out at Diddy's private events. From the Hamptons White Party to those mysterious Vegas weekends where the cameras flashed, but the microphones were mysteriously turned off. Conspiracy threads started popping up everywhere, suggesting Jay-Z's connection might have gone far beyond business deals and music. Some speculated he might have been part of, or at least witnessed, the same unsettling scenes described during the trial. And just like that, the story came full circle, linking right back to those wild claims from the TMZ documentary, where unnamed insiders whispered that Jay-Z allegedly gets a thrill out of watching Beyonce with other men. Theories spiraled fast, leaving fans wondering what's truth, what's rumor, and what's still waiting to be exposed. Even industry insiders started echoing the same shocking narrative. Former PR rep Jonathan Hay, who once worked with Rihanna, made headlines years ago after claiming that Jay-Z allegedly used Ray J to entertain Beyonce right in front of him. Hay later tried to walk back parts of what he said, but not before hinting that Jay's private preferences were far from ordinary. His words added another layer to the growing mystery. Whispers in the same Hollywood circles say that Ray J's unusual loyalty to the Carters, the way he jumps to defend them even when no one's attacking, might come from shared secrets buried deep.
I'm surprised when it comes to, Jay-Z, especially because it's, like Beyonce, but it's pretty normal. Surprisingly, it's an industry that's very dominated by and
by the end of 2025, online forums were buzzing with speculation that the story was nowhere near over. Jaguar Wright doubled down, claiming she's personally seen evidence that would blow the roof off if it ever came to light. Meanwhile, reporters covering Diddy's case hinted that not everything the feds found was shown in court. Some of the seized material, they said, stayed sealed, hidden under federal custody. That rumor alone made people question what's really sitting in those evidence vaults. And if Jay-Z is allegedly linked to that world, why hasn't his name been called in court yet? According to insiders, the answer might be simple. The real proof isn't in the testimony. It's in the videos. That's where the story gets dark. Really dark. During Diddy's trial, prosecutors didn't just mention his wild parties, they described them in disturbing cinematic detail. They said the freak-offs were staged events where women were pressured into group situations, all while cameras rolled. According to multiple witnesses, Diddy recorded everything, archiving his private world like some twisted collection. But here's the question nobody's daring to ask. If Diddy was filming every minute, who else was caught in those videos? Could those missing drives hold footage that links other powerful names to the same scenes described in court? Because if those tapes ever surface, this whole story could explode in a way the industry's never seen before. That one question, who else was caught on those tapes, is what's now sending shockwaves through Hollywood's inner circle. Insiders are whispering that Jay-Z's face might actually appear in some of that unreleased footage. Nothing's been confirmed and nobody can verify it yet, but according to multiple people familiar with the investigation, federal agents allegedly have recordings showing recognizable celebrities from those same star-studded after-hours gatherings. The ones that used to look glamorous to the public, but now seem a whole lot darker. These were the nights filled with flashing lights, top-shelf champagne, and power moves that blurred into something else when the doors closed after midnight. And if Jay-Z really shows up in those recordings, it wouldn't be the first time his name's been linked to controversy behind the scenes. Back in 2021, talk show host Wendy Williams, who was never afraid to speak her mind, looked right into her camera and said that Jay-Z and Foxy Brown had a romantic situation long before Beyonce ever entered the picture. At first, it sounded like classic gossip, until fans noticed something strange. Neither Jay-Z nor Foxy Brown ever denied it.
So, civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, we'll see what happens off the DA.
For a man who carefully guards his image, that silence was loud. Some fans even said his lack of reaction felt like a quiet confirmation. And when it comes to someone like Jay-Z, silence sometimes screams louder than words. But here's the thing, this isn't just about old affairs or faded rumors. What's unfolding now feels like a much deeper pattern, one that's all about control and image. For decades, Jay-Z has crafted his reputation as the ultimate self-made mogul, the hustler who rose from the streets to build a billion-dollar empire built on vision and discipline. But those cracks everyone used to ignore are starting to show. By 2025, Jaguar Wright came forward again, claiming Jay-Z keeps Beyonce under tight control, saying she isn't truly a partner, but a prisoner inside her own marriage. Her words hit hard because they lined up with what other insiders have hinted for years, that the perfect power couple image might just be a carefully managed illusion. And if even half of these whispers are true, then Hollywood might be looking at the biggest unmasking it's seen in years. Jaguar Wright didn't stop at calling Jay-Z controlling. She went even further, claiming he allegedly uses substances to keep Beyonce compliant. According to her, Beyonce is watched 24 hours a day and has almost no real freedom of choice. The claims sounded wild at first, but the more people looked into it, the more it started echoing the exact same behavior described in Diddy's federal case. Powerful men using manipulation and control to keep those around them silent and submissive. Sound familiar? It should. In Diddy's trial, prosecutors said those infamous freak-offs weren't just spontaneous parties, they were organized operations. Witnesses testified that women were handed drinks and substances they didn't fully consent to, then pressured into performing for hidden cameras. The most chilling part? Prosecutors said Diddy allegedly used those recordings as leverage, keeping everyone under control with the threat of exposure hanging over their heads. And now, when fans look at Jay-Z's rumored obsession with surveillance and control, the similarities are impossible to ignore. His whole empire, Roc Nation, Tidal, every business arm he's built, is rooted in the idea of ownership and dominance. So when people hear that he might extend that same mentality into his private life, it sends chills through the same fan base that once saw him as untouchable. Even before these new allegations, Jay-Z's past had already dropped hints of a darker side. His former partner Dame Dash once said Jay was bitter when Dame started seeing Aaliyah, the woman both men had pursued. Years later, Dash spoke out again, saying he was disgusted when Jay-Z still went ahead and did not one, but two full projects with R. Kelly, the same man who had secretly married Aaliyah when she was still a teenager. Dash told reporters, "I couldn't believe he did a project with that guy knowing what happened." That might not be courtroom evidence, but it revealed something even deeper, a glimpse into Jay-Z's moral compass. To many, it showed a man willing to look past what's right if it meant securing another hit record. And when you connect that mindset to the new claims about control and manipulation, it paints a chilling picture, one that fans are finally starting to question out loud. That same willingness to cross moral lines looks way more alarming now in light of Diddy's complete downfall.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-find.
During the trial, attorney Tony Busby dropped one of the most haunting statements yet. He told reporters that his team was still analyzing hundreds of hours of material seized from Diddy's homes, including digital archives and private recordings. He didn't name names, but his warning hit hard. When you see who's in those tapes, you'll understand why this case goes beyond Diddy. That one line blew up online instantly. Fans flooded social media, pulling up old photos of Jay-Z and Beyonce at Diddy's legendary parties, trying to match outfits, backgrounds, and dates to figure out which night could have been caught on camera. Things got even crazier when people noticed something odd. Several of those old pictures quietly disappeared from Roc Nation's official website just weeks after the verdict. It didn't take long for whispers to start flying. Insiders claim Jay-Z's legal team allegedly reached out to certain media outlets, warning them to stay cautious about publishing any unverified content that could come from those tapes. At the same time, multiple journalists who used to cover Roc Nation began hinting that non-disclosure agreements were being used to keep former employees quiet. A move that looked way too familiar to what Ray J once called the catch and silence system. People being paid to keep secrets before they ever see the light of day. And then there's the money side, the part that might hurt the most. Jay-Z's image as a self-made billionaire has always been his golden shield, the one thing that keeps him untouchable in business and culture. But if that image cracks, everything built on it could crumble right along with it. Jaguar Wright's 2025 claims cut straight to that nerve. She said Beyonce's labor, her endless touring, her perfectionism, and her constant reinvention were being exploited to keep Jay-Z's fortune afloat. To the public, they're the power couple everyone admires, the dream team. But behind closed doors, Wright claims it's a totally different picture, one where control, manipulation, and silence might be the real glue holding that empire together. Jaguar Wright has doubled down again, insisting that Jay-Z and Beyonce's marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's a calculated business merger. She claims it's built on control, power, and money, not love. And when you line that up with what came out during Diddy's trial, the similarities get almost impossible to ignore. Prosecutors in that case revealed a world where power, money, and manipulation blended so tightly that no one could tell where affection ended and coercion began. Now the question hanging over Hollywood is simple. Could Jay-Z's billion-dollar empire survive the same kind of microscope that destroyed Diddy's? Because if investigators ever confirm that Jay-Z was present at one of those infamous freak-offs, the fallout would be seismic. We're talking endorsements gone, partnerships canceled, and museums quietly removing exhibits built around the myth of the billionaire hustler. That entire legacy would start to crumble under its own legend, because success stories only shine when they're spotless. And this one's getting messier by the day. As of late 2025, Diddy's still locked up in federal custody, and reports from inside the Metropolitan Detention Center describe him as thinner, grayer, and almost unrecognizable. A man swallowed up by the weight of his own secrets. But the most chilling part of his trial wasn't even his conviction. It was what prosecutors didn't show the public. They admitted that not all the seized recordings were entered into evidence, saying some of it was too sensitive or unrelated to the specific charges. For anyone paying attention, that was a giant red flag. A quiet code that means there are more names, more faces, and possibly more powerful careers still hanging in the balance. And according to multiple sources close to the ongoing legal proceedings, one name keeps popping up again and again behind closed doors: Jay-Z's. The question now isn't whether his name's being whispered.
I was like, well, listen, Ray J is just defending Beyonce and Jay-Z because, Jay-Z's a cuckold. And once again, I know that for 100% of fact, 100% fact. Like I said, go back to academics. Academics likes to break stuff down, fact check me, and see if I did not work with Drake and get paid with Drake this year. And if I'm working with Drake, then I have access to everything.
It's how long they can keep it from being spoken out loud. Sources close to the investigation claim that certain tapes feature music industry figures on the same level as Diddy. And that's a very short list. When fans started connecting those dots with the fact that Jay-Z and Beyonce suddenly canceled multiple public appearances right after Diddy's conviction, speculation turned into near certainty. In the world of gossip, the Carters, once everywhere, all the time, have practically vanished from sight. For a couple who built their empire on being seen, that kind of silence doesn't feel random. It feels calculated. And if Jaguar Wright's claims are even halfway true, that Jay-Z is a monster who mirrors Diddy's darkest habits, then the theory that he's just an innocent bystander doesn't hold up anymore. There are too many coincidences, too many parallels, from the alleged control within his marriage to the possible connection with those sealed tapes. The puzzle pieces are lining up, and what they reveal is chilling. If Diddy's trial exposed him as a manipulator hiding behind fame and fortune, then what does that say about the people who stood right beside him at those same parties? According to insiders, Jay-Z's role might not be passive at all. They're saying he wasn't just a witness. He was a participant. And if that's even partly true, then the next big scandal in hip-hop isn't waiting to happen. It's already unfolding in real time. The only question left now is this: what happens when the man who built his entire legacy on being untouchable finally faces footage he can't erase? Are we about to witness the biggest fall from grace in hip-hop history, or another cover-up too powerful to break through? Let us know what you think. Could this be the end of an era, or just another Hollywood smokescreen? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this video if you're ready for the truth to come out. Because one thing's for sure, in Hollywood, secrets never stay buried for long.